Hey internet, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of the Jongravesshow. Microtransactions going fucking crazy this week. Yes, I know I didn't cover it, but Bungie, they did throw in the microtransaction shit and it did pop up today with their fucking silver. And yes, that shit, it did actually piss me off when I saw it. So let me get on and talk about some other shit, man, in which that I found throughout, man, the microtransactions world, which really needs to be addressed, even though nobody wants to hear about it. So yeah, as we already know, Bungie put out microtransactions for Destiny, and there's nothing we can do about that. However, there is something interesting in which that I wanted to tell people. Microtransactions is slowly starting to evolve into two other things, meaning that, remember that whole thing of pretty much companies cutting out gaming content in terms of trying, man, to make some of their companies or at least making some of the companies under them like make way more money with their games? Well, now Tomb Raider offers 300 game-altering microtransactions, which pretty much amount to fucking perks, or at least Call of Duty perks, if I do say so myself. Mind you that, really thinking about it, they also have cheat codes now built in with these. So pretty much you do have bullet resistance, you do have big hit mode, and pretty much you have all these other things which probably could be a very powerful card or it could be a weak card. We don't necessarily know, but they have 300 of them things coming out, and you have to pay money for it to pretty much use something which should have been unlockable in the first place, or should have already been in the game in the first place, like under a very under like maybe like an extra mode or maybe like a multiplayer mode, especially since that they want us to use this for our friends. And the same thing can be said for, you know, the whole like Konami thing of them trying to make it so that you can use insurance microtransactions things to actually protect the soldiers in your base who may get extracted, or the materials in which that you have. However, what that means is that it also comes with like a crazy loophole of, you know, if they extract someone who's in the brig, well, they're gone for good. If they kill any one of your guards or wound them, well, they're gone for good. So there's no insurance on that. It's only if they get taken or they steal materials. That's about it. And there's some more other shit in there, but you know, like with some whole like daily passes and whatnot, and some more MB cards every day. MB coins every day. But really, you think about that, just like most of these things, and it's like most of this stuff, it could be already on the disc for free, and just give me the game in which that I ask for it. It's already bad enough in which that like most of the games in which that I get from either company now is fucking incomplete, and they're not really worth the price, man, in which that they are, especially since some games nowadays like that they actually shit broken anyway, and I gotta pay $60 for that, and also I gotta pay 30 bucks, man, for like a season pass if it has one, which most games nowadays, when they come out, they rarely don't have a fucking season pass. And also now I have to pay money for microtransactions for things that probably should have been unlocked in the first fucking place, or should have been on the goddamn disc, or pretty much should have been hidden behind some type of some like god ass like trial, so that I have to go ahead and do this thing and fucking unlock it. I mean, like, listen, if I can go online and I can unlock everything from Jump Street, I think that sort of kills, man, like the whole replayability for your video game, because there really is no completion bonus. There is nothing which is like for me to beat the game. Nothing. It's just, I can just purchase everything online. However, there was also another thing that I pretty much wanted to talk about though, and it was gamer amnesty. In this case, what I mean by that is, that some gamers are really quick to try and forget everything which sort of happens whenever companies do these things. Because here's the thing about that. All right. Not too long ago, when the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One came out, okay, there were a fuck ton of articles that pretty much came out that talked a lot about which game had 60 frames per second, which games ran at 30 frames per second, which games were 900p, 1080p, so on and so forth. And I understand why those articles were there, because what they were saying is that some companies, you tell us that these are the most powerful systems ever, but yet you give us underpowered whatever, or at least like, it's not standard anymore, or at least that was a standard in which so many people held it to. Me personally, I really didn't give a fuck, and I still don't, because I can still play a game if it runs at 30 frames per second. Anything under that, it's a bit difficult, but it's possible. Even if it runs at 900p, 1080p, so on, so forth, 720, who really gives a fuck? I mean, honestly, if it looks nice, I'm okay with it. But here is the kicker, though. I don't have to pay extra money for graphics. I don't have to pay extra money for, I don't know what else. I don't have to pay extra money for frame rate, because if I really cared about that, I would just play games on my PC. But the reason why I do bring up Amnesty, though, is that the frame rates were one thing. Me having to pay extra money for something which probably could kill this game in my eyes if they ever want to make a sequel, or games in the future, if they see that this is taking off, the company probably just might say, okay, well, it worked for our last game, now it's the standard. This game, it has to have microtransactions. We can now ship our games halfway finished, and people, they won't give a fuck. I mean, like, we'll just send them in like a small ass apology letter, and then we can just do whatever the fuck, we can do whatever the fuck we want. I mean, like, you already see that going on now. We, can easily cut out shit, in our game, and we can sell it right back to them for extra money, for an extra $15. Now, like, a good, million of them are going to buy it, and they do. Now, honestly, I'm not saying that, that all of it's bad, because some of it is handled really, 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 really well. However, what I am saying is that I understand why they why they don't want to remember that stuff, why they're so quick to forget it, because they get bored of it, they get tired of it, they don't want to talk about it anymore. And honestly, some people, they do get pretty vigilant whenever somebody wants to bring these things up, and they do want to talk about it, and they do want to complain about it, and they do want to tell people. It's wise to just tell them to fucking stop doing these things. And people say, and some people, they do go out and they do see people, and they do ask people upon their videos of, why do you care? It's not that important. It's not anything. It's best to just forget it and keep going. But that's the thing, though. You have to keep remembering. You have to keep this shit in your mind. I mean, listen, we all know that Nintendo screwed the pooch, with them trying, to get rid of the Wii U and try and make the NX. Never let them forget that. We never let them forget the Virtual Boy. We never let Sega forget, all that shit, in which that it did, even though it's still part of Nintendo now. We will never let Capcom forget about Resident Evil. And guess what? We will never, ever, ever let Sony forget about the fucking PlayStation 3 and it's and how that shit came out. We will never let it forget that. But when it comes to these microtransactions, season passes, cutting out DLC, it's the whole install problem. Even if you don't want to say it, and you're like me and you don't care, frame rate and also the fucking 1080p thing, even if I don't give a fuck about it, the shit is important, and you have to fucking remember that shit. But I do understand why you don't want to talk about it, or why it's not that important to you. I really do. But you got to realize something. Microtransactions is just another foothold for the gaming industry to go ahead and say, listen, we're going to make some games, and we're going to hide that shit behind a paywall. This could be there, but fuck it. Let's cut that shit out and pop that shit, up on the store. They'll buy it. I mean, look at fucking Steam. I mean, not too long ago, until that shit was changed, somebody was charging people $100, for horse mods. They fixed that shit up real quick. They made it $15, but maybe less now. But really, at the same time, though, it's that's pretty fucked up. Just think about it. That's all I'm saying. I'll catch you guys next time. Please keep watching anime, keep playing video games. If you do like my videos, then please go ahead and hit that like button. Please, everyone, I promise you, I will be hopping back up on Twitter. Please please and foremost check out my Facebook page. I will my Facebook fan page. I will get back to posting on that because I sort of have to start doing that shit. But until then, that is it. I'll catch you guys on the next John Grave Show. Please keep watching anime, keep playing video games. I'm out.